Betsy.
Hi, it's so good to see you. Usually I'm in your studio.
Right.
Hey, I want everybody to know that while they're sitting at home, they can actually come out of all of this with a new job, or at least in a position to get a new job as a community association manager. While you're sitting at home, you can study and you can get all the paperwork done and be ready to go. I am getting calls from all over the state, Suzanne, from communities, management companies. People are begging for managers and manager assistants, CAM assistants. What we learned in 2008, 2009 is that this is an industry that is recession proof. Community associations in Florida, which there are about 48,000 of them, do need managers. And yes, times like this cause a lot of,
concern
and other issues, but we still need professional management. So I've got classes. I've converted everything to Skype.
So let's go ahead and talk about the fact that while we're home, sitting on the couch, worrying about our bills, which is very legitimate, and I don't mean to downplay that, there are classes where you could not have to go back to your regular office job because you could have a change of careers, not just jobs, careers. As community association manager, heading up different. First of all, why don't we explain what a community association manager does, and then we're going to get into the really exciting stuff about the surprise of what the average age is, experience, and how much it pays.
Yeah, the community association manager, we say CAM, like my name up there, CAM matters, is a person who manages the whole community association. And by that, I mean a condominium association, a cooperative association, or a homeowners association corporation. All of these are Florida corporations. And so they have boards of directors that we work for, and they have millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of property and money to manage. So to take that management from the boards and help them, the state licenses us because we're in a fiduciary capacity. We're managing other people's property, money. The state licenses us as managers and are able then to handle their financials, all of their financial things, making all the deposits. In fact, this afternoon when I finish this, I'm going to run out and make some deposits for my little communities. And then we handle all of the meetings, which there are a lot of, owners meetings, usually once a year, and then board meetings. Some of those are monthly, some quarterly, some maybe not as often. And then, anything that comes up, property and facilities maintenance. Yesterday, I dealt with a community that the city called and said, we've got a reported leak. You need to get your people out there because the leak is on your side of the meter, not on the city side of the meter. So, even in this time, I'm still at the office. I'm still working. I still have 6 communities to manage. And a water leak yesterday was one of them.
Betsy, let's be clear. We're not talking about.
I'm sorry. I'm seeing comments from some.
I know, Mark. Yeah. Hi, Mark. We're glad that you're here.
Hey, let me give a plug for the Orlando Law Group. Mark is their business development manager, and I think that they're a great law group. Anyway, shout out for Mark and the Orlando Law Group.
Mark is a great guy. He's good
really at people start writing and I comment on all of these.
Betsy, let's be clear that we're not talking about volunteer positions on boards. If we're entering an idea that people are like, I didn't even know what a CAM is, like a community association. We're not talking about when you walk down the street with your dog and you were recruited to be the president of your HOA. This is a very nicely paid position that you can take classes for. Online over a couple weeks and come out in a brand new career. So let's dig into a little bit more bullet points specifically of what a CAM manager does. So their bookkeeping, their
many of them, the bookkeeping, the daily bookkeeping. Now, can you imagine there are some community associations, some condos, some homeowner associations that have thousands of owners.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting thousands of checks a month,
Mm-hmm.
their assessment payments. So it's, and then they have, some of them will have budgets of $1 million, $2 or $3 million. They'll have reserves in the millions of dollars. The reserves are for the capital expenditures, the deferred maintenance, the big ticket things like replacing the roof and repainting the buildings and
So
resurfacing.
you're facilitating.
Yeah, and you're handling and handling all of that on behalf of the board.
Mm.
Board members are volunteer, they're elected by the owners. But would you believe that they would probably rather enjoy living in their community instead of going to an office and still working all day?
Right.
So we take the work from them based on a contract. So we'll lift from them whatever work they choose for us to do. We can do it all, or we can do parts of it.
Would you kind of, so that we can wrap our mind around this a little bit more with language that we're familiar with, would you kind of say that the CAM manager is a little bit like the mayor of the association? Is that okay to go there?
Yeah, and we've used that kind of analogy in one of our YouTube episodes. We use that the CAM is kind of like the manager, city manager, and the board of directors would be like the city council. And the community is has a geographic area, and there are services and facilities in that geographic area for which the residents pay. And we manage the facilities and we manage all of those payments. Can you imagine just dealing with insurance in something as large as some of these community associations? All of the claims that you could have on a annual basis, and then hurricanes, and then pandemics.
What? That would never happen. All right. If you're watching, whether it's live or whether this is a replay, thank you so much. And we'd love for you to ask questions. We're going to pop those questions up. Betsy is here to answer those. And even if it's a replay, we're going to go back in and revisit those and answer. Betsy, I think there might be some misunderstanding with the price range, with the salary range that we could be talking about for this new career that you could have in just a couple weeks. Yeah. What are we talking about?
The salary range varies in different parts of the state, and it also varies with what do you want the manager to do or the management company to do. So I would say here in Central Florida, probably you're looking at maybe not entry level. Entry level is going to be different because you're going to have to get up to speed. And whether you're on site or whether you're a portfolio manager would be, I guess that's what I am. I have 6 communities that I manage in addition to running the school. So portfolio will handle quite a few communities. Then an on-site goes to that community. They have an office, and they go to that community, and that's the only job that they go to, 5 days a week. Probably here for on-site, you're probably looking in Central Florida, not the Orlando area, probably a little higher over in Orlando, but you're probably looking around 45,000 here, which is not a lot, but it is steady income. I'm finding that over in the Daytona, on the beach sides, it's more. And I have manager friends that are probably making in the 70s and 80,000s on the beach side. You'll probably find close to 100,000 and a little over in the Miami-Dade area. Down there. I'm finding over in Citrus County, over that way. I keep trying to get them up to speed and to think in terms of salary, but they're still hourly. Hourly.
But you know what, Betsy, a lot of people who are going to be watching this have been furloughed indefinitely and they don't know. So instead of waiting, I mean, they could jump on, get some information, find out, do I have the personality for this? Is this something that I could be interested in? I didn't really like what I was doing before anyway. Are you telling me for real we could change our careers in just a couple weeks at a minimum entry point financially?
The financial investment to get the license is right about $600.
Okay.
there's the time then to study, which I'm to do now. The state application is, I think, $223. Our class, and there are other providers besides me, but our class is $299. Okay. Then the fingerprinting, because there's a FBI background check, so that varies between, I think, $50 and $80. Okay. And then there's the test fee. I believe that is about $37. So I think when you add that up, you're right around $600.
Okay.
But you have to come to this with some kind of work experience. And it doesn't matter whether you've been in construction, it doesn't matter whether you've been in accounting, HR, banking, most any kind of industry that you've been in is relatable to this. I find that you can be too young.
Okay.
For the job. You just don't know enough. You just don't know enough about life. You don't know enough about just things,
dealing with people,
business, and dealing with people.
Right.
And what I find is there is not too old age. You can't be too old.
So you can be too young, but you can't be too old.
Yeah. That's been my observation. That because people will say, well, I'm 60 years old. Can I still get a job? I say, yeah, you're perfect. You've got the experience, life experience and people experience. And in this kind of job is so much variety. You would be.
Yeah, Mark was just mentioning that, to talk about the variety of things. Yeah. You don't go in, every day is not the same, right?
Every day is not the same. And if your portfolio, you're running around with your, anyway, it's not a chicken with your head cut off, but the variety is there. If you like a steady job, then on site is better for you. If you don't mind running here and there and kind of never getting everything finished during the day, the portfolio management might be better for you.
And then you could work from home.
Some
your home office. Mm-hmm.
Some can. Others work for management companies as portfolio manager, and so they do have. Sometimes they'll have back office support there that will help them with the financials and things like that. But every day is different, and every community is different. Each community has a personality, and just as each of us has a personality, and sometimes it takes a time or two to find the right fit.
Right.
For the personality. The investment initially is not very much, considering it's a professional license.
Yes.
Continuing ed that you will need to have every 2 years, and guess who has that for you?
Oh gosh, would Betsy.
But you're probably not going to just step right into a CAM position. But there are so many other positions in communities and in management companies. So you can get in at some
paying jobs.
And then paying jobs.
Yeah.
And then work your way up. Now think about it. If you've got a community that has 1,000 homes, you probably have office staff. You probably have staff. Mm-hmm. You have other people in the office besides you. And so, there are places to get in. So you might not step in as the manager, but there are places to get in.
Going into
begging me to send them people.
I was just going to ask you that. How would someone apply for a job once they're licensed? Would you have many referrals that you would be able to point people in the right direction?
I'm not a job placement service.
Right.
Nor do I get calls from all over the state?
Right.
And I don't mind sending resumes if I think that you would be a good fit in the community or for a management company. But I tell you, you get a job here like you do any other place.
Okay.
Networking.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't go where we are, you're not going to get a job. And what a lot of people don't know is this is a huge industry, huge in Florida. And it kind of runs under the radar of other, quote, industries in Florida. We have professional organizations. We have state organizations. We have national organizations. We have local organizations. We didn't have one here in Lake County, so I made one. We have.
Oh, wow.
And I tell people, I said, well, just gather a whole bunch of managers around where you are and make your own group.
And make your own.
So I made our own group, and we're exclusive. We only have ladies. So we call ourselves the Lady Cams. Meet and greet every other month, except for right now.
That's great. I imagine when you talk about it being under the radar, I mean, there are just certain organizations that have to keep going, and community associations, people have to keep living, right? And standards have to be met.
You still have to pay your assessments because we still have to pay the utility bills. We still have to clean the pool, mow the lawn. And I've got a friend over in Ormond Beach, I believe, if I recall, they're getting ready to do repainting of the buildings. It's summertime. This is when or coming in summertime, this is when we get our projects done, when so many of our owners have gone north for the summer.
Sure.
So we get our painting done, our repaving done, we get the pools up to speed, we get the roofing done. So we're getting ready to go into a lot of big projects for the summer. So we've still got roofers and pavers and painters and all of those groups of people that we're still coordinating with and getting those projects done. We're the project manager, and sometimes we're not. Sometimes they'll hire a general contractor to be the project manager for that.
Sure. There's so much to talk about. I want to make sure we get it all in and get contact information for you. But what type of personality? Is there one type of personality that works best? I mean, I know that you talk about the different parts of your brain.
Yeah.
Do you need to be?
You love it when I do this.
Do you need to be?
No, in fact, oh gosh, now it's probably been 18, 19 years ago, I profiled the communication styles, and that's part of my background as behavior specialist, and that's one of the things that I can help with, is helping you understand what kind of job you're suited for, and then helping boards learn to work together better when they understand what kind of communication styles they have. But I profiled about 1,000 managers in a two summer continuing ed cycle. The statistics that they give me as a behavior specialist from the company that licenses me, Personality Insights in Atlanta, Georgia, the statistics they give us is that there are 10% dominant people, dominant, direct, determined, demanding, decisive, doer. There are 30% interesting, influencing, inducing, interactive, impressive, interesting, and interested in people. There are 35%
alone.
35% steady, stable, supportive, sensitive, sweet, and shy. And there are 25% that are cautious, calculating, competent, compliant, and critical analyst. And what I'm pointing to is the different parts of your brain that tend to give us those skills. And we have a tendency to like to use one of those parts of our brains, or two, more than others. And do you know, in those 1,000 or so people that I profiled in that 2 summer cycle for continuing ed, the statistics were the same. 10% of the managers in the 10% of the managers in the classes were dominant. 30% were influencing. 35% were supportive, and 25% were the critical analyst. And I can point to friends that are in the industry that are each of those. And they bring a different mindset. They bring a different set of skills, but there's no good or bad or right or wrong. What I find is more important is to learn if you are a better suited for on-site or for portfolio.
Oh, that's a very good point.
It's better to learn than you need to know your communication style. But generally, it boils down to, if you're the D or the I, you can tolerate portfolio because it's here and there.
Right. Okay.
And if you're the S or the C, the back brain, that you are more suited probably for on-site and like to go to one place, get to know all of your owners, get involved in the community, and that's your desk, and that's where you go to work.
Sure. Wow. So much to talk about, but I just want to
so much more we can say, but
I just want to revisit the fact that here we are. Many of us were recording in April of 2020, many quarantined with COVID-19, having lost jobs. It's really, for some of people, very scary time, uncertain. And Betsy is here talking about how in just a couple weeks with her online classes, you can become certified in a brand new career that, from what you said, may start at around 45,000 and go up to as much as 100,000. I
Depending
mean,
on where you live.
yeah, absolutely.
And well, I just lost my thought because I see a comment here from my
Yeah, go ahead and jump in. Yeah.
I see a comment here from my manager friend Matthew at Palmasola Harbor
Okay.
and Bradenton. And I don't know anything, Matthew, about the payroll protection program for associations. I have not heard anything about that.
Okay.
Still waiting for my application to be approved. So
Okay.
I don't know about.
For those that are just listening, he's asking about if there's any word on associations getting approved for the payroll protection program, and actually not having to pay it back.
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't have the answer to that one.
I think there's a lot of things that, because we've never been down this road, there's no precedent that's really been set yet, right?
And I've had so many of the same kind of question lately about what about rescheduling annual meetings? We ended up with communities. Communities often have their annual meetings between October and March, which is when all of the northern owners are here. And so the ones in February, March, and April got canceled. And so they're asking, what do we do? And I said, well, here's my thoughts. But right now, we're in uncharted territory.
Mm-hmm.
I remember now what I was going to say.
Oh, good.
The online classes that I'm offering for the pre-licensing class are live. This is not studying by yourself. This is live. I have to see you.
Mm-hmm.
The class is a time requirement class.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see you and make sure that you're sitting here the whole 16 hours of the class. So it's not, it's interactive. Mm-hmm. Even though it's mostly driving in a bunch of information in your brain. Mm-hmm. Interactive. So it's not a self-study. This is online, so you can ask questions for clarification and things like that. So it is live online.
I don't know if there will be an opportunity like this again in our lifetime. In a way, maybe that's a good thing, but we might as well take advantage of the opportunity that we have right now of being home, wanting to keep our minds active. And again, I hate to keep beating this, but a lot of people have been furloughed and are now unemployed and are looking for not just jobs. We'd be happy to go mow a lawn right now in a lot of cases to be able to have an income. We're talking about a brand new career.
Mm-hmm. And it's recession proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Betsy, is there anything on the final note? Of course, we want to do contact information and how to get involved in it. Any final thoughts on this?
Just those who know me know that I love questions. I'm bored, so please call me and send me a question or something. But you all know that I am a resource, and don't ever hesitate to ask a question. You know that about me.
Absolutely. And let's talk about your contact information and your YouTube page for more information.
Now, YouTube page is Cam Matters. Up there.
Yep.
And website is down there. Everybody's seeing what I'm seeing. Website is there. And email is betsy@floridacamschools.com. And the number is area code 352-326-8365. And I just love all my managers. I think you all are the greatest people.
I think that's a great note to go out on. Thank you very much, Betsy. Have a great day. And if you have any questions, just hit her up. She's available. She wants to hear from you.
Please call me. Bye. Be safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless.